Welcome to another episode of Recapping with Cam. My name's Cam. Tell me your name or mouth it if you're in public right now, listening to this on a huge speaker powered by a generator. Probably do more than mouth it, actually. Yell over the loudness of this. I would take it as quite a huge compliment if you did hire a generator to listen to this podcast in public. So if you're a stalker and you've found yourself pondering how to get on my radar, that would be a start. Like you'll get on the radar, but maybe that isn't the way to impress me. But I would notice. I would then, if you sent me footage of you listening to this on a huge speaker powered by a generator, annoying the public, then yeah, I don't know if a crush would develop, but I would probably be interested to know who you are if I didn't already know who you are. I've been watching a lot of horrors. That's not new. That's, if you're the stalker that I was talking directly to a second ago, you know that's typical behavior for me. And all of my streaming platforms are now at the point where they're very specific in what they're offering to me. They know that I'll definitely watch a horror that's about the apocalypse, that's about surviving and about people kind of compromising on their morals to defend themselves and their family. That is what every streaming platform that I pay is now offering me. Hey Cam, welcome back, you sicko. I've noticed that in the last fortnight, I've watched 3 movies that not only have that common thread of being apocalypse movies where people are fighting to survive, but the common thread has been that there's 2 straight guys and 1 straight girl, and there's a love triangle. And outside of their flatting situation, there'll either be zombies or a sickness. So they've got a lot to battle with. It's not like their home is just a haven where everything's peaceful. They come home and they're all like, oh, we're both in love with the same girl, which seems like it would be a really specific genre. But I've seen 3 of these movies in the last fortnight. The one that I watched most recently is called Z is for Zachariah. Or Z is for Zachariah, and it's got Chris Pine, the guy from Star Trek. I won't give any spoilers away, but if that genre is up your alley, 2 people in love with the same person while there's a disease going on, then you should watch that. But the best horror that I've seen recently is called It Comes at Night. It's got Joel Edgerton, I think is how you say it, maybe Egerton. But yeah, that's amazing. I don't want to spoil that one. That's really good. What else have I seen recently? I think outside of that really specific genre of horror, that's kind of it. Something else that my friend Holly put on my radar recently is an Instagram account called Lords of Property. And if you're not already aware of this and you're like me and you enjoy that feeling of just being so close to the heat of weirdness, but repelled and drawn in at the same time by cringy moments that aren't yours, then you'll love this. So it's an Instagram account where the people who run this account, they find videos that suburban real estate agents have made, and then they just repost them. What I didn't realize before following this Instagram account is that real estate agents, when I'm saying that I'm drawn to things that are fiercely uncomfortable or embarrassing, real estate agents seem to be a treasure trove of that exact feeling. And the videos that this account posts, I'm so hooked on them. And I think a good sign of something being that perfect level of uncomfortable, weird, or sometimes on the verge of sickening, is when the only thing that can free you from that sick, trapped feeling is to pass on the video to other people, which is what I'm about to do for you. So when I talk about passing on sick videos, I don't mean, because there's a whole world. I remember when the internet was first a thing, there was a whole world where like some of my mates would be like, oh, have you seen that beheading video or that guy that gets electrocuted? Like, I'm not talking about rotten.com. I'm talking about like mums and dads dancing together and looking straight down the camera. Like, that's the type of cringe that I'm talking about, not death. So just to clarify, I'm not about to play some kind of execution video, but it'll leave you with just as permanent a scar. So this is a video by Harvey's, which is a real estate company in New Zealand. Now, in order to, I guess, attract people who want to sell their house, they've made a video. They've made a new version of a Bruno Mars song, and they've changed the lyrics of this Bruno Mars song to be all about how cool it is to sell your house with Harvey's. Not Harvey's. It's not actually a national campaign. It's Harvey's Manurewa in New Zealand, which is an area in New Zealand. So I'm just going to play this for you. I'm going to play it beginning to end, just so that I can share this, so I can share this feeling. So kick back, pull that little lever on the side of your car seat, and just let this one wash over you.
Stop. Wait a minute. Check your mailbox with flyers in it. Sign the contract, sign the check.
Michelle, get the Mitsi.
Cover Clevedon, East Coast, South Auckland, Manurewa. When we show up, you want to sign up. We'll drop the docs around prior.
Hot listing.
Hot damn.
Gotta call the database of buyers, man. Hot listing.
Hot damn.
Gotta help the vendors retire, man.
Hot listing.
Hot damn. Say my name, you know who I am.
Hot listing.
Hot damn.
Gotta get the vendor their money, work it hard.
Cause Harvey's Rewa will sell it for you. Cause Harvey's Rewa will sell it for you. Cause Harvey's Rewa will sell it for you. Saturday night and the deal's just right. Don't believe me, just try us.
Ooh. Okay, so welcome. So a few things that I want to point out. Michelle Get the Mitsi might be the most Kiwi sentence ever uttered. I think that when you arrive at the international airport in New Zealand, that's what they're going to now plaster all over the walls. They're going to, at Wellington Airport, they're going to take down all of those giant paper mache Lord of the Rings characters, and they're just going to slap up a big cartoon speech bubble that says, Michelle, get the Mitsi. Or if you're only listening to the audio version of this, everybody in that video is wearing a fedora. They're all kind of dancing just how white people dance at weddings, like sort of dropping about 3 inches. They're bobbing around with fedoras on, and they're just going from location to location. And when I say that, I mean they're going from their for sale sign to the front of the Mitsi to a moped that they must have just found, and one of them sitting on it. But yeah, very catchy. The audio, the audio levels are outrageous. It sounds like they couldn't hear the song when they were recording their parts. Like the timing just kind of floats in and out of being close to accurate. And the guy, like, I feel for him. He's the only, like, you, at least with, there's 3, it's kind of like the thrillers that I like. It's the reverse of it. There's 3 girls and 1 guy, but every time he sings, I guess he can't point the finger and blame anyone else. So it sounds like, one, he recorded his parts from a different room. Like they were like, "You're still in on this?" And he was like, "I guess so." And they're like, "We're rolling." And he's like trying to pretend that his phone's ringing and he's got something else to do. And they're like, "Just do it from there. We're recording. I emailed you the lyrics again. Can you just speak the lyrics? And we'll drop it in. We'll drop it in later." Oh, poor dude. But yeah, that video since I saw it has just been living in my head, just floating around every 4 hours or so. It just pops back into my head. I've recently accepted that I need to make a little more effort to have a social life, to make friends, and that movie with Paul Rudd gets it so right. I think it's called I Love You, Man. Making friends as just a dude is, it's horrible. I think it's easier to go on dates than it is to try to make friends. And every time I catch myself thinking like, oh yeah, it is a good idea for me to make an effort and like go to some gigs and talk to people, the other part of my brain, because one part's like, yeah man, get out there, make some new friends, you live in a new city, stop being lazy about it. But the other part of my brain is like, and what? Go to the supermarket and smile at everybody until somebody says, hey, what's happening? Or like shake hands with people at a gig in a mosh pit. And then the other one that for some reason, even though I don't like fishing, the other idea that keeps popping up into my head is like, oh, you got to join a Facebook group about fishing, and then you'll meet heaps of other dudes that are like taking their boat out. But none of those things, one, are based in reality, because that's not how I've ever made friends. But yeah, none of those things are appealing. So I'm just hoping, I think I'm just going to go to some more things, like some gigs, try to play some more gigs and just meet people that way. But yeah, it just makes me want to like dry heave, just even saying like, oh, you got to go out there and make friends. Like, it's such a battle mentally, because as soon as I say it, the other part of me is like, why? Just don't worry about it. So we'll see. Maybe you'll see some photos of me pop up of me fishing, me stabbing a worm, chucking it in there, impressing other people on the docks. Hey, you guys see how I threw that worm in there? You want to spend some time together on the weekends? Yeah, so send me your tips. Send me your fishing tips.